This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Monday, so that means we're doing some kind of soloing lesson. And in this particular weekly slot, what I'm doing is alternating. One week it's some blues, and the next week it's melodic rock. And then we kind of go back and forth, pinging and ponging between the two different styles like that. At some point, we're going to kind of intersect and do melodic blues rock. I wouldn't rule that out, but for the moment, I'm trying to keep them, reasonably separate. It's the turn of the blues this week, so here's a blues solo. You may recognise that particular chord sequence I was playing over there. It is essentially in a different key, but it's essentially the same chord sequence as Need Your Love So Bad, originally by Little Willie John and then famously covered by Fleetwood Mac. And here's the thing, whenever I put up any kind of chord sequence or solo or any piece of music at all that has that chord sequence in the key of A major, it always gets demonetized. It's like I'm always infringing Fleetwood Mac's copyright, apparently, even though they didn't do the original. I know, it doesn't make any sense to me either. So I've done it in the key of C this time, so let's see if that gets past the copyright Wombles, shall we? The reason why I'm doing this chord sequence today and showing you how to play over it is because it tends to be the one, because I've worked with lots and lots of blues guitarists over the years. I've been doing this since the early 90s. It tends to be the one which trips up the most people in terms of how you play over it, where you've got to kind of dance around the chord changes and so on. We can look at this in terms of playing chord tones and that sort of stuff, but I've been banging that drum quite a bit lately, so I'm going to just keep it nice and accessible, just using essentially one pentatonic pattern. You can do this with just moving it to different parts of the neck. Here's a little bit of information on how I was thinking as I was playing that solo.
Solo explained. explanation.
Right, so the chord sequence we're playing over here is this, often known as a gospel blues chord sequence. It's in 6/8 time, which means that each bar is counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And given that one of my wife's favourite TV shows is Strictly Come Dancing, internationally known, I think, as Dancing with the Stars, I now know that that is called a Viennese waltz. Anyway, let's take a look at the chord sequence. You've got 3 bars of C major, then the C7 kind of leads you into the F major chord, going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. Then we have that F sharp diminished 7th thing there for a couple of bars. And then we come down to the bottom row where we have 1 bar each of C to A7, then taking us into a D minor 7 to a G11. Don't worry about G11, it's just a G7 in a fancy suit. If you want to know how to play it, then it's just stay on a D minor 7 and let the bass player go to a G note. That gives you an overall sound of G11. That's certainly how I recorded it in the jam track. And then just like a little 1, 4, 1, 5, C, F, C, G7 turnaround there. For the wonderful people who support me on Patreon, I'll do some chord diagrams for each of those chords, so you can have a play along with the backing track in a kind of chordal way, maybe learn some new shapes. Anyway, to play over that in a lead way, this is the way that I was approaching it in that solo. You can see that I'm using a mixture of C minor pentatonic for that kind of minor pentatonic over major backing kind of bluesy sort of thing. When you do that, if you're not aware of this, anytime you have a major key or a major tonality, in this case C major, rather than playing C major pentatonic over the top of it, if you play a little bit of C minor pentatonic, it will just lend it that bluesy kind of swagger and grit. And it's just basically the cornerstone of pretty much every blues guitar solo, really. There are, however, a few chords in the sequence where that C minor pentatonic starts to sound a little bit grindy and a little bit too spicy against the chords, and it's that C, A7, D minor 7, G11 passage there, first half of the second line. So for that part there, I went into C major pentatonic, and then we can go back to C minor at the end there, or you can mix in a little bit of C major there as well. You can put the C major pentatonic pretty much anywhere, but you know, that's how I was delineating it. All I'm saying here is that it's probably best to avoid the C minor pentatonic over that C, A7, D minor, G11 part. So how I was kind of visualizing this on the neck is very much like this. There's the 2 scales. C minor pentatonic is the one that's lit up there. Position number 1 at the 8th fret, and that will give you the C minor pentatonic. And then you can see all you got to do is move that same shape down 3 frets, and you will get the C major pentatonic. So the strategy you want to employ here is when you hear that very distinctive F sharp diminished 7th chord, it really does stand out as being okay, because it's such a dissonant chord. Beautiful chord for adding tension and returning you back to the C again at the beginning of the second line. When you hear that chord arrive, think, okay, on the next chord change, just move down to the C major pentatonic. And then once you get a little bit more familiar, I guess, with the different pentatonic positions around the neck, you can find places where both scales overlap and kind of switch between them that way. But this way here, let's just put this up again. That and that is certainly how I do it. You can actually see me doing that in this little clip of the solo here. You'll see on screen as the scales change. So there you go. That is, I think, the most accessible way to play over, this chord sequence, which, can trip a lot of people up, because it starts off okay, sounding like minor pentatonic bluesy kind of thing, and then it just starts to, as I say, grind a little bit and get a bit too dissonant over the first half of the second line. That's how you can cope with that chord sequence. So now, just do the usual. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for the solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, those chord diagrams I mentioned in that explanation, the explanation clip itself, and of course the backing track to play along with yourself. That is all up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, it's $3 or about £3 a month, and you get access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a humongously massive, sincere, heartfelt thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative in some way, and maybe even entertaining as well. We can live in hope, can't we? And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it? Of course, don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. Beer and chat on a Friday. That's about the size of it. Doesn't get any more complicated than that. It's a great way to kick off the weekend though, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.